Alright. By the time I record this, okay, I recorded this 3 times because stuff happened. But it's been 19 days since I posted a YouTube video. I went to Ohio for my spring break, and then I had a long Minecraft phase. Chicken jockey. But Ohio State had their spring game, and I need to watch it now. I heard there is, wait, okay, before we start. Spring game highlight, 5-star. Is it Julian Sayin? Is that the quarterback? I'm pretty sure. And then Taven. I seen this guy right here. I seen him on TikTok. QB1 battle. I'm pretty sure it's the white guy that's gonna win. That's what everybody's saying. But let's watch. Remember, like and subscribe. Let's watch this. Alright, and number 5 is good. I don't like this video. Nah, I cannot. This is the shortest video out there, but I cannot watch this. I don't like it. I'll just watch the actual hour-long thing. Where is it? The whole entire hour and 28-minute thing.
Tackle the twos against the twos. They will tackle. And the quarterbacks wearing the black uniforms. They were live last Saturday. They are not live today. Lincoln Keenholz will get the first snap today. The third-year man at the most extensive playing experience of his career over a year ago in the bowl game, the Cotton Bowl against Missouri, and he is throwing on the move a long
throw
complete to Bryson Rogers. Here's how the scoring works today. Jake, you're in charge of this.
The spring game, and as is true in spring games, even this is probably fluid, right? We'll stay on our toes up here.
That's exactly right. The offense, traditional scoring. You can see the defense gets points for touchdown sacks, takeaways, 3-and-outs, and forcing punts.
That's a lot of math for me. As a tight, I can break down cover 2. I can tell you blocking schemes. That's a lot of math.
And we're expecting maybe 2-3 series from the ones against the ones today, guys. But look, we mentioned it in the open. A lot changing on the offensive line. Certainly a quarterback. On the defense, all over the place. Carnell Tate there couldn't hold on. And so a lot of moving parts. But I guess the question is, in a
Ryan Day. The building. That's what Will Howard. He was exquisite at that in that huge run that they had after the loss to Michigan. I mean, he was really that alpha, that leader for this program. I believe that both quarterbacks have that for this team. Then, what's your discernment like? And that's what I think we're going to see today. Decision making, understanding where route progressions are going, where you're protected in pass pro.
Here's Keenholz, a long throw, and that zips through the hands a little too high for Jeremiah Smith.
Thank you, Ohio State, baby. If you can't build Jeremiah Smith, if you can't be not like Will Howard, if you're not Will Howard during Wisconsin and Michigan, you cannot be doing that.
Stepping right into those shoes.
But that was right to him.
That needs no introduction. What more can I say that hasn't been said 100 times? And as we talk about this quarterback battle, the luxury here in Columbus is they have plenty of weapons to throw to. That's the best receiver in college football, would be one of the best receivers in the NFL as it stands right now. So whoever's under center, plenty of weapons to distribute to.
And Tyvus is going to talk with Emeka coming up. That is Joe McGuire
back
again to punt for the Buckeyes. We'll see some Jaden Fielding today as well. The kicker is John Froman, the third-year snapper, who comes down to spot that. And Gray, the defense, gets 3 points for the 3-and-out.
Nice job by that defense as well. Like, it's going to be thud when the first groups go against one another, so they're not going to be going live as your reference guy. But on the offensive defensive line, that is all live. I mean, so when you're watching that previous dive, Kenyatta Jackson and company, the defensive line. Now you see there's 11. C.J. Hicks moves from linebacker to defensive end. The defensive line, it's got to take a big step here from spring to the fall.
And now Julian Sayin, the second-year man who had some light opportunity last year, takes over. He throws complete to C.J. Donaldson, the transfer from West Virginia, who had a lot of production in 3 years. They're over 30 touchdowns. Julian Sayin, of course, third string last year, comes in early last year, transferring in from Alabama, and just a sophomore and a big opportunity.
This guy reminds me of
Southern California.
From the moment he stepped on campus, there's been a ton of buzz around Sayin.
From Dune.
And really, when you look at Sayin and Keenholz, these are
the guy that plays
really
Blue
different quarterbacks. Julian Sayin is more of your prototypical pocket passer. He's listed at 6'1". Seeing him at practice yesterday, 5'11", a little bit more reasonable to me. But that's what he does well as a pocket passer. It's that beautiful viral across social media, and that was an accurate out route. We just saw Keenholz miss 2 of those same opportunities on the prior drive.
Well, that was to Mylan Graham, the sophomore, trying to add some depth. That ball is batted and still caught by Brandon Innes, who has said his time is now, and definitely a breakout candidate in this receiving group for Ohio State.
One little thing to notice here, watch this ball get batted. I talked about his height, Yogi. Lincoln is 6'3", a much bigger, longer quarterback. Sayin shorter with shorter arms. That's a curious point to consider going forward in this battle. Obviously, just from a height standpoint, more likely to have balls batted at the line of scrimmage for Sayin.
So pistol here for C.J. Donaldson.
Oh!
And of course the running back room, one that it's gutted when you lose Travion Henderson and Quinshon Judkins. Donaldson comes in. James Peoples had the only other really significant carries last year other than the quarterback, Will Howard, and you can see only 10% of the rushing yards are back from last season.
Well, look, here's a reality. Jake, you know this being in the Big Ten for as long as you have been. I mean, you got to be able to run the football. You got to be able to control the ball. Can you do what Ohio State did to Penn State? Run that 4-minute offense to win a game, a big game in this upcoming season. A huge part of that is the downhill run game. This run game at Ohio State, it's often been based out of the pistol. Downhill, get the ball to your back. So there we go.
Pretty good.
Shot, find your tight end, a little corner.
Pretty good.
Jelani Thurman.
Dang it.
Texas was taxing.
Predict
now
right
Texas
now.
is relaxing.
I'm already going to predict
you file for
it's going to be
free.
2 teams that can win that championship.
For free?
See what's going to be
TurboTax Free Edition.
Penn State or Ohio State.
37% of file.
Big Ten is better than the SEC.
How about the depth of this group of Jelani Thurman and company, Max Clare. Jake, I know you love this route. A little play action. Corner out, settles in the zone. Perfect throw, throttles him down, and away you go. And this is the arm talent of Julian Sayin, and knowing what the defense is doing out in front of you in his zone, know where the defenders are. Perfect location.
Great play call sequencing too. Ryan Hartline, obviously the new play caller. They ran the play on the previous. They ran the ball on the previous play, and they gave the play action and opened it up for Jelani Thurman.
Back to the ground. C.J. Donaldson, big, and he finally gets cut down in the secondary by Leroy Roker, the sophomore from Fort Myers.
New faces in the backfield, but ultimately, watch the offensive line up front here. Look at that big, all the space there in the middle of the defense. A great double team by the new tackle, Phillip Daniels, transferring in from Minnesota.
Saying end zone shot, and it's broken up by Aaron Scott Jr. He came in with so much anticipation last year. The number 2 corner in the nation in the class, played 74 snaps. There's a lot of competition at corner.
Can't really be bad
for this defense, and he's a big
when he gets stopped, our defense
really
is
physical.
good.
And just fun watching these guys battle. Look at the end of the play. Hand-to-hand combat. I like it right there.
See, if Jeremiah Smith was up there, he would just Iowa Games, grab him, the other guy to the ball.
Up against each other for now 15 practices. Love seeing that competitive temperament.
Good ball. Good throw.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you're a Emeka Buka down there, you're saying, hey, I make that play.
Sam Williams-Dixon will get his first carry. They're happy to have him back in this running backs.
Just to go back to that previous play, though, Guy, the competition outside receivers and corners is, I mean, this is effectively an NFL program here. Seriously, Ohio State's starting 3 wide receivers, that's an NFL receiver room. Even their second unit, the young guys, they're deep in the secondary. I find it just a point to emphasize here for Ohio State's culture. Devin Sanchez is a 5-star that's not guaranteed to start for this defense. Quincy Porter, Mylan Graham, these guys would start everywhere, but they're here to compete in Columbus.
Sayin throws that complete to Max LeBlanc, the tight end. Speaking of a deep room as well. Complete to Max LeBlanc, but they're here to compete in Columbus. Sayin throws that complete to Max LeBlanc, the tight end. Speaking of a deep room as well.
No doubt. I think for the quarterback thing, it's going to get scrutinized and evaluated as it should. When you're playing from like 20 to 20, you're running the offense. When you get down inside the red zone, the tight red zone, this is the discernment that we've been referencing.
I'm telling you, nobody better still at it.
Are you going to
me him during a game? He's going to start playing. I am Duke. Oh, wait, Let me find it real quick. It's on my TikTok, I know it is. So they're gonna take me 20 seconds.
We officially live in a world where people are starting to say that Joe Roth is falling off.
Okay. It's literally gonna be. Turn your ladies! I'm gonna rock this! Kinda look like him, not gonna lie. I'm gonna make an edit of that.
Take a sack, right? There's certain rules in the red zone. No picks, no sacks. That's a nice job from Sam getting all the way across to number 3 in his progression, getting the ball out, giving him a chance inside the 5, and now the sticks move. It's first and goal.
From Columbus.
C.J. Donaldson back in at running back. Already took the shot to Mylan Graham. He's alone at the top of the screen. And Sayan is looking that way again, and this time...
No! No!
And Sayan is looking that way again.
No! It's wide open! Or maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was a little too far.
Who slips and falls. That was Scott.
Scott
They can't connect for the touchdown.
I don't know what you're talking about him. Maybe he'll have.
I mean, he cooked Scott on the release and was wide open. This is something we saw at practice. They were working these fade routes down in the end zone because they have such physically gifted and talented receivers. It's just a little off.
Well, just a little off. But also, this is why you play the spring game. This is why a second-year player has to play in front of 40,000 people or whatever it might be here today. Give the opportunity.
Back to the ground. Donaldson. Touchdown, Scarlet.
It's a great drive by Julian Sayan. Give a ton of credit to the big fellas up front, though. The movement they were generating in the run game, the double teams, once again, running behind that right side of the offensive line. I believe that's number 70, Phillip Daniels, once again, washing the defensive end. And it'd be fun to play running back here in Columbus with those big-time holes.
Man, I want to play any position here. I don't know if we'd be good enough. You would be, man. But, geez, I mean, such talent, you're right, and the drive. Watching that, I felt like I was watching Ohio State, Tennessee in the first round of the playoff, where you just start with the screen, then it was the run. Or you remember that play with Trigon Henderson down the right sideline? Yeah. It felt like we're watching that. And the point is, with a new play caller, Brian Hartline, as you see the celebration of the fellas after the first touchdown here in the spring game, is that it's the same system that Ryan Day has implemented since he was the offensive coordinator. When you talk to Coach Hartline and Ryan Day, he asked, how do you teach the feel for calling plays? There's Coach Hartline right there in the middle. He said, well, we want to think the same. And that's where they're at right now. They've walked into many meetings where you're scripting practice, 2-minute drill, whatever the situation might be, and they're saying, I'm thinking about this. Oh, I was just thinking about that. And that, to me, is when the great staffs really come up. Reminds me of way back in the day, Steve Sarkisian, Lane Kiffin, when they were both co-coordinators, USC under Pete Carroll, they all thought the same. And look at how that impacted them as their careers went on. I think that Brian Hartline's got a chance to be one of the great play callers in the country.
Number 1 offense against the number 1 defense again. And Brian Hartline, by the way, will be on the field for the second half calling plays. Max Clare, nearly a spectacular back shoulder cover there by Davison Igbinosun, the tight end from Purdue. All right, how good is he, Jake?
He is Mackey Award good. That's how talented he is. I think this is one of the more underrated pickups of any team in college football this offseason. We talked about how talented Ohio State's wide receivers are. Teams are going to have to play split safety coverage, which means this guy right here is going to be matched up one-on-one on linebackers. Good luck. There's not very many, if any, linebackers in college football that are going to be able to cover him.
Coming from a man who won the Mackey, and you're on the board for them.
On the board, so I'm starting the wave for Max Clare.
He was the number 1 target, of course, at Purdue last year. And he enters and hits the ground running. And look, he is part of a group of players that was here in January to watch this team, be a part of this team that won the national title.
I think it's an underrated storyline, whether it was the mid-year enrollees that were true freshmen or the portal guys. They came in, and the veterans of last year's national championship team voted on, yeah, we want them to come. We want them to be part of the brotherhood. They watched how they were so mission-minded, how they attacked practice, meetings, preparation, and it's really elevated and set the standard for the new faces.
There's Jeremiah Smith. He almost gets
elevated and set the standard for the new practice, meetings, preparation, and it's really elevated and set the standard for the new faces.
There's Jeremiah Smith. He almost gets glossed over a little bit because what more can you say about a guy who might be the best player in college football?
He is the best player in college.
So, Yogi, what more can you say
about him?
Well, I think that he's really working at his craft. So what does that mean? Well, when you're a freshman, you come in and you want to get a hold of your position. You're going to run a handful of routes because you wanted to get a guy like Jeremiah Smith on the field. Midway through the season, we're watching him on reverses, end arounds, special trick plays. You watch the playoffs, and all of a sudden against Oregon, he's the best player in America. And I think now for this spring, it's working on understanding how defensive backs think. The first 5 yards of a route, what's a corner thinking? Second 5 yards of a route, what's a safety overhang player thinking? Understanding those little nuances of the craft.
He's running.
That's Cornell Tate, and it's Julian Sand getting his opportunity here with the one offense. We mentioned that as well. Keenholz the first time around, Sand this time. Here's what Jeremiah Smith did as a freshman.
Well, one thing that's new, he's effectively a rock star. I mean, he might be the most popular guy in the city of Columbus, and you're looking at a Heisman campaign this year. So good. Would be surprised if he wins it in back-to-back years. That's how talented he is, and really, he has a maturity about him. You know, he's a professional. From the minute he walked on campus, he treats this like a business. He understands he wants to be one of the best to play the game. And I'll go back a little bit. The culture in this Buckeye receiver room is as good as you'll find in college football.
Sand steps up, and there is Tate with the reception, beating Benosin, and he is touchdown at the 27-yard line.
Impressive play, impressive protection. Big reason is this new man right here. Another transfer, Ethan Oniawa from Rice. Really talented player at the left tackle position. We had a chance to talk to Mike Bloomgren, his former head coach, now the offensive line coach for your Cleveland Browns. Not only was he a medical engineering student at Rice, so he's brilliant. He's got it above the shoulders. He's so physical at the line of scrimmage, really special in pass protection. He's a chance to be an anchor on this offensive front.
He's transformed his body too. He's lost about 30 pounds since getting on campus. You know, there's some nuance to the spring game. Everybody loves offense. This is exciting. We're getting to see the quarterback Sand spinning around. We're getting to see some of the new running backs. You're playing against your defense though, and the flip side's also true, which is, Yogi, you talked about in the open, all these new faces defensively. It's the #1 defense in America last year. Right now, the offense is having their way. Even that first 3-and-out drive, that was more from missed passes by Keenholz than it was great defense.
Well, we haven't seen a blitz. I'm sure that was part of the protocol coming into today. Hey, Matt Patricia, let's just make sure your defensive guys come out of this thing healthy. You don't want to show too much. But you're right. They have a bunch of players, and I love this. They could have left, but said, no, I want to be part of this program, but haven't played a ton of snaps. We see on the seam route.
There goes tight end. Score. Wow.
And there is Max Clair's first touchdown as a Buckeye in front of fans.
He gets lost there too, doesn't get carried in zone coverage. They play that too high that you referenced. Really impressive. There he is right there, lined up number 86. Nice job on the release, doesn't get touched right inside. Sonny Styles, linebacker, doesn't get depth in Arvell Reese. Nice job in the red zone anticipating that.
But that right there structurally is why I'm so high on Max Clair. Split safety defense. Why? Because teams have to have safety coverage and help because of the talent Ohio State has at the wide receiver position. Max Clair, Ohio State has had some talented tight ends come through, but Max Clair is different just in the way he moves. He's an excellent route runner. He reminds me of Colston Loveland from Michigan, and we got a great Buckeye safety in Tyvis Powell. I know we've been going back and forth on this a little bit. Tyvis, can you speak to the challenges that you have in that safety room and how you have to count for all these weapons?
Yeah, I mean, when you think about all the wide receivers that Ohio State has and that's developed, you have to pay them attention. So the safeties, oftentimes, you're going to see that too high safety look because they don't want to get beat deep. They want to help these corners out to where a guy like Max Clair will be a guy who will be able to benefit from that because now you have linebackers on him. Nobody's really paying him attention. And you see the play that he just made for that touchdown. I think we're going to be seeing a lot of that this season.
Lincoln Keenholz back out for his second series. This time he gets his first opportunity with the twos. It was interesting to hear Philip Elder, one of the freshman receivers. He said, Brian Hartline offers him a scholarship as a wide receiver. You got to take it. And this is part of the reason why.
Yeah, well, you play here, you start here, you're going to find your way getting drafted into the NFL and starting on a roster. It's just what the standard is. So to Jake's point, and to what Tyvis just referenced, you got a tight end now that can line up at the slot. He could stand up. He could put his hand in the dirt. And when you look at the last 5 seasons, there hasn't been a tight end at Ohio State that's had over 41 catches. Cade Stover had the most in 23 with 41 grabs. I think it's over 50 easy for this young man. He's so gifted. I think it's going to be such a challenge for defensive coordinators saying, what personnel is Ohio State in? How do you navigate? Is he a receiver? Is he a tight end? Is he a H-back? Might be a fullback. They'll get creative with him.
Football's a game of matchups. You want to put defenses in binds as much as possible. And to play tight end at Ohio State, you have to be able to block. You have to be able to pass protect. You have to line the tight end off the ball and move them around, insert on the linebackers. The more Max Clare and Jelani Thurman, I mean, gosh, this is the deepest tight end room Ohio State has had, maybe ever, but certainly in a really long time. The more they can get involved in the run game, the more they'll be able to open up in the pass game and play action with a touchdown.
Well, we just saw a little bit of Nate Roberts there, the tight end, the freshman. Talk about another fun prospect at tight end. 6'5", 235, Washington, Oklahoma. 3 straight undefeated state championships for a 4-star recruit who initially committed to Notre Dame, decommitted a couple years ago, and was also a part of this group because he came in early. They got to see the title run.
Yeah, they do such a nice job here at Ohio State of letting you get to connect with the players. You hear some of their interviews. Nate Roberts said, as a mid-year enrollee, inside drill, which is probably the most physical drill in football. He was like, whoa, okay, there's some grown men here that I'm going up against.
And there he is making the catch.
Yeah.
The good news about defending, or I guess the bad news for everybody else, if you want to defend Max Clare, the best guy to do it might be Caleb Downs. Unfortunately for everybody else, he's on this team.
Well, you're exactly right. A rising tide raises all ships. Iron sharpens iron.
Is Caleb Downs a senior?
Max Clare versus Caleb Downs. Think how much better they're going to make each other this offseason.
Wait,
think about all.
Caleb Downs still in Ohio State?
We only got so much time. I can't rattle off every Buckeye receiver, but there's a ton of them. I can't do the same for the secondary, but iron sharpens iron. The competition here in Columbus is only going to make them better.
I can't. Throw that ball!
Load up, and now he's
running
into a scramble. Let's go down. Emeka Buka with Tyvis
Number
Powell.
3.
Sitting here with Emeka.
Emeka!
First game being
Emeka!
put in the shoe since the Tennessee game.
Emeka!
I do miss it. Special atmosphere.
Look at him.
In the shoe, and it's something that I gotta keep reliving on my mind just to be able to get that feeling back. So it's definitely amazing. I'm super glad to be back here.
You declare for the NFL draft. What's that experience been like?
It's been amazing. This is something I've been working towards since I was young. So, try not to rush it, take it all in, enjoy it with my family. You only get this process one time. So, draft coming up here in 2 weeks. So, definitely trying to look forward to soaking in every moment.
I just want you to know that I ran a faster 40 than you. I ran a 4.46. What did you run?
I ran a 4.45.
Did you? Yeah. We got to check the Carfax on that one. We might need to race today to see if I still got it. Give us a young guy. You've obviously been in this wide receiver room for many, many years. Give us a young guy that maybe the world doesn't know about.
All right, Mr.
Is phenomenal.
Can I make another bold claim here?
Bring it.
I think Ohio State has the most athletic linebacker room in college football between Styles and Arbel Reese.
Both good.
There's Jeremiah Smith with the catches. The Butkus Award candidate Sonny Styles.
Yeah, well, he can do a little bit of everything. Come off the edge. He can bring a little pressure on a quarterback. He gets his hands around the ball. He's got such a nose for the ball. He's extremely physical. Great bloodlines, and he just loves this place. This is a guy who had a chance to also join Emeka Buka and many others to get drafted and said, no, I want to come on back. I want to cement my legacy here. Was honored with the Iron Buckeye Award. 3 players who really exemplify the hard work that is necessary to thrive in this program. Got that this offseason. I just love how he carries himself.
There's Max Clare out in the flat. Is it safe to say he'll be the guy with the green dot, the communication this year?
Well, I think he's going to be one of them. The thing with Matt Patricia and his defense, and we're not seeing it today, but we'll see it in the fall, because they did it at the Patriots forever, and Ohio State did it last year. They're going to play the best 11. It'll be my best 11.
There's all 4 defensive linemen. Of course, the guy that wore the black 0 at linebacker, the captain, Cody Simon. That's part of this, too. Leadership. Need new captains. Luckily, they've got good candidates for captains.
Culture, and just as you, dynasties, and I'm going to go play on special teams. I'm going to contribute in some factor, in some fashion, to allow this team to do something really dynamic.
Keen holds the throw here on 3rd down. And he loops that over the head of Smith. Incomplete. It was Igbinosin in front. And Malik Hartford, part of that competition with Jalen McClain to replace Lathan Ransom. safety, and we've got the end 5:20.
Who all have
That's the zone. This one looks very similar to what we got.
Okay. Man, hey, all I know, man, this is such a great blessing. So proud of this
team. Started him.
You heard it here first. Thank you, G, for letting us see your rings.
Amazing. The official confetti.
I do not care about the rings. Okay.
It's going to be remembered.
Or see
back in.
What I have coming. My team coming up with. Are they cooking around?
And with defender bearing down on him, he dumps it down to Bo Jackson. Our first look at the freshman today, the number 5 running back in the nation.
Yeah, how about bunch last year? Linebackers now to focus. He'll have a big coaching for Ohio State. But he does everything well. Comes to work with such a focus. He'll have a big role this year on this defense.
Some pressure there for Stan eventually.
On the rise, some of the most complimented players on this Buckeye defense.
It is interesting, right? For all of the new faces, most of them are in-house or high school recruit. Logan George Casey.
One more good play.
Even in is committed, organically grown, recruited, and developed, and then you hit the portal for those key needs. Last year, you get a guy like Caleb Downs and Will Howard. Logan George is one of those guys helping reload the defensive line.
Dang, nasty catch. Jeremiah Smith.
A couple opportunities in the end zone on catches he couldn't make, and he takes advantage of a chance here.
Well, look, we're not live today, but this is as close to it again. There's a rush from both edges. Got to climb the pocket, sit in the pocket, and then deliver an absolute dime. Only spot that ball could go. And then the catch in coverage to your point guy against Aaron Scott. That is impressive. That's as close to game-like as we're going to see.
Good battling today.
That's saying at his best, though. Tight spiral, beautiful quick release, accurate.
Another one to the tight end, Jelani Thurman, who gets down into the red zone.
Think of this drive. You've got 3 plays ago. It's a check down to a back, feeling a little bit of pressure. Then it's the rip shot that we see them at right now. This second-year player.
One more.
Was that one to Milan Graham was a ripped-in, dart, accurate. The one to Thurman is a little bit more of a.
Come on, let's see.
Point. Saying that the throws.
I know they're going to do the right flag. He's going to go straight in there.
Bo Jackson, the freshman
Watch
from
this.
Cleveland, only played 4 games his senior year of high school last year. The running back, and it's good to see him healthy,
in there,
forcing his way into the end zone.
So far, Ohio State team, the Ohio State Buckeye team, looks really, really good. But I don't know who's going to be QB. It's either probably going to be the white guy. I forget his name already. It's going to be hard to remember it. Forget it doesn't have it on this. Okay, well, please like and subscribe. Please.